Hey guys, what's up? What's up?
Well, Israel, every fight that you're involved in is a big fight now, right? I mean, but this one does feel kind of special as well. Does it feel special to you? Does this feel like a big moment for you?
To be honest, not really. I know it's a big fight. I know it's gonna do well, but nah, it doesn't really feel. I don't know if it's because there's no fanfare or whatnot, but and less media, thank God. But yeah, I feel like it's just another fight, another day in the office.
Is that okay? I mean, like you've thrived under the spotlight since you came to the UFC, right? So knowing that this is more low key, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, obviously you like to know not as much media, but I would imagine kind of that little adrenaline rush is nice as well.
Nah, I can always summon the adrenaline when I need to, but I feel like it's not a bad thing. It's just it is what it is, and I've even like Brad reminded us that we've done this before. We fought in China a few times in a TV station, and there's probably like 30 people in the crowd or working and it's just for China TV, so they have like a little stand with like a standing crowd, and they just zoom in on them individually. So I've done this before, and it just didn't feel any different.
Despite the setup, undefeated champion, undefeated challenger. I mean, I know you know the history of the sport, man. You study. I mean, is this potentially the greatest middleweight title fight of all time when you talk about the two athletes that are stepping in there?
Nope, I don't think so. Just his resume doesn't hold up enough. If you look at the guys he's beat, it's he beat over the hill Johnny Hendricks, no offense, a former welterweight champion that is. He beat Uriah Hall, who was actually doing quite well in that fight, one of his better performances, but then Uriah Hall just succumbed to his will because Uriah Hall sometimes breaks mentally. And he beat Romero, who's on his way out anyway, and he's a tough guy. Everyone kept on saying the scariest guy in the division, so that's why I called him out. But I don't think it's going to be the greatest middleweight fight in history. I kind of already did that with Kelvin Gastelum, so I have that in my back resume.
I like that. I got to ask about the exchange that you guys had that we all saw on tape. I mean, I saw a lot of people that were disappointed. They were like, I thought these were bitter rivals and they hated each other.
Well, what happened was I walked past him. If you see it in my story, I checked him, and he said, what did he say? He said, you good? I was like, I'm great. And then Waleed or him muffled something, and I doubled back. And I went over there to kind of just check his energy. And I went there, sized him up, patted him on the shoulder to feel how dense he is. I shook his hand because I wanted to feel the kind of pressure he put on from a guy who said, I would not shake his hand when I beat him, da-da-da-da-da. So because he's just like one of those dogs that just barks behind the fence, but when the fence opens up, he comes around and just like real timid. So I could feel that off him, and it's the energy. So I went to check his energy, and I even said, you look skinny. I expected him to take that the wrong way, but he and Waleed were just giggling like little girls. So I already knew what I already knew. I just confirmed it. I knew that they were going to submit to me. So he didn't check out when I checked him.
Tactical thing. We thought this might be in Vegas for a little while. We thought the small cage might favor him. Then it comes over here, the big cage. Does that factor in? Does it make life easier for you to have more room to work?
Not really, no. The cage is not that small. It's 25 foot. It's still a big-ass cage. And I fought my whole life in kickboxing rings. Even when I fought in the fucking thing ring, it was like a fucking few of these tables linked together. So, I've done this before. And even the kickboxing ring as well has corners that you can trap someone in. And some people have tried that in the past and failed. So in a smaller cage, it wouldn't have made a difference. I did it at the Palms at the Tough 27 finale, and people forget that. They just think, back then they were saying the same thing. He's not ready for Tavares. The smaller cage, he's not going to have anywhere to run, blah, blah, blah. But I was able to whoop his ass.
So it's interesting to me. I mean, I don't want to say you're downplaying the stakes, but I mean, for us that are kind of hyping this thing up, you say, maybe it's not that. So what are the stakes here? I mean, what does this mean in terms of your legacy or what you're building in your career?
I don't want to downplay the stakes. I feel like it is an important fight. It's going to be a great showcase. It's going to be, and people say it's a fight of the year, like Dana White said, but that's only if he's tough enough to actually take a beating from me for 5 rounds. But I just don't think his gas tank's going to hold up. But I'm not downplaying the stakes. I feel like for my legacy, it's just the look of it. Like I've said, people are still fooled by muscles and big, juice heads and think, that's what a fighter looks like. So especially the casuals, because the casuals are the ones who pay your bills. They're the ones that really go buy this shit. And they see that and they're like, once they see the skinny clown supposedly beat this muscly buffoon, and they're like, What? But the skinny guy beat the muscular guy. Well, how did do that? Like, it's gonna blow their mind, especially in the fashion I'm gonna do it.
Last thing for me, I mean, you're definitely blowing up right now, man. Your star continues to rise. So give us the vision, man. I mean, after you pick up this victory, what's next on the horizon for you? Where do you go from here?
After I pick up this victory, I already kind of set the stage for the next one for a guy I have in mind. I want Cannonier. I'm not looking past Carlo. I'm just setting up the stage because I feel like Cannonier is gonna destroy Robert Whittaker or dominate him. So I already told Cannonier he does that, he's next in line.
What is it about Cannonier that makes you believe he'll just tear through Robert Whittaker?
Cannonier's a dark horse. He's the dark horse of the division. He's a guy we've had our eye on for a long time because when he dropped down to middleweight, he's become a killer. He's become a terrorizer, and also just who he is as a person. I think he's had a bit of a revamp, kind of like the way Masvidal did. You know, he's had a bit of a resurgence, a resurrection, if you will, and I just see him being a formidable force to be stopped, and I look forward to that challenge.
What did you make of him saying he was getting ready for Saturday just in case one of you and Paulo didn't make it to the octagon?
Good. He should be. He's a smart man. He understands the opportunity that's at stake, and I mean, even if he did, I'd have to talk to my team, but I'm pretty sure we'd jump at the chance if he decided, if Paulo didn't make it to Brazil, to Abu Dhabi or something. So yeah.
And then you mentioned when you fought Brad Tavares, a lot of your critics were saying oh, he's not ready for Brad and this and that, and then you kind of 50-45'd him across the board.
It should have been fucking like a clean wash. Yeah.
If they used the full 10
yeah.
system, right? Did you think there was a point in time when people stopped doubting you against fighters, or do you always think people are going to doubt you?
I think it's still going to be there no matter what. Even when I retire, I feel like people should just say, I just don't like him. Like, why? I don't like him. I'll take that better, but then when they try and make excuses, I'm like, are you dumb? Because apparently I'm still hyped. They're lucky I like the whole hype thing, because I've lived off that through dance. I love hype, especially when the crowd goes crazy, and I love hype. But they still, I mean, fuck, I've been fighting for how long in this company? So short. And I'm the champion now, and I've defended my belt twice. And apparently I'm still all hype, allegedly. I still see that sometimes. I'm like, really? I can't wait till they derail this hype train, this hype job. I'm like, haha.
So do you think it's fair to say that people have favored your opponents in pretty much all of your
They just say you don't like me if you don't like me. Just I don't like him. Why? Because sometimes this is martial arts. You have to understand. There's certain guys, example, when Woodley was a champion, he was a destroyer at one point, doing quite well. But I just didn't like his style because I didn't like his style. It's artistry. Art is subjective. And if you don't like someone's style, you can say that without, oh, why don't you like my style? Like, if someone says they don't like my style because, oh, he fights with his hands low sometimes and he does this, I'm like, oh, cool. It still works for me, and I'm still successful doing it. So same thing with someone like Willie I just said. Not that he's not a great champion. It wasn't a great champion, but I wasn't a fan of his artistry, And some people, like Khabib, I wasn't a fan of his artistry at first, but then over time, slowly watching the way he's worked his opponents over time, I've kind of become a bit of a fan of his artistry. And doesn't mean, if I say that about anyone, doesn't mean I don't like them. And people, I feel like they just say they just don't like me. Just like, oh, I don't like him. Why? Yeah. It would be so much better for their soul.
So you, when Robert Whittaker came out and said, I just don't like him, me and him just don't mix, did you respect that answer?
Yes, and I even said, I think I posted a story about that, and I was like, thank you. I like this kind of honesty. It's just simple, as I don't like him. Why? I don't like him. Perfect. That's why me and Paulo are fighting each other. Because I looked at him, I was like, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. Oh, fuck you too. I get to punch you in the face. It's just honest, man. It's just, there's no need to make all these reasons like, oh, he's a hype job, or no, they can't even, they're running out of reasons fast. And it's like, I'll tell you, just say you don't like me. Just say it.
Your coach Barrett usually did an interview with the Bash MMA, and he said that you like to size up your opponents in person as soon as you can on fight week. Is that what the Paulo Costa thing was about? Yeah,
I didn't have to walk back. But I saw Waleed whip out his phone. And I was like, I know the narrative they'll try and play if I went in the elevator to go get my test. So I double backed, and I used that opportunity to size him. Like I said, I felt his pressure, because you can tell by a handshake a lot. And a lot of people don't know this. I shake people all the time. I try not to these days, thank God for Corona. Allegedly. But like, because some people are just stupid, especially like fans. You've had that when they shake your hand, they want to let you know they're tough, and I'm like, oh, you're a bitch. But yeah, I sized people up. I tapped him on the shoulder first, feel the density, and I was like, oh, you look skinny, and I sized him up. I saw how tall he is, how short his arms were, little T-Rex. And at the end, he mirrored me, tapped me on the shoulder too, and he walked off because he knew what was up. Like, where's all that action now? All that barking behind the cage when I was in Melbourne, when I was in Vegas, and bah, 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 bah. I fight you now. Like, we can't fight each other right now. I just got done with a fight, and you know security's gonna hold you back. Like, if they let him go, he would have just, what's he gonna do? He wouldn't have done shit. So I had to go check him out, and like I said, he didn't check out.
So did you know when you walked back to him that he wasn't going to do anything? Because every time he's been near you, he's been, like you said.
I didn't know. I wouldn't say I knew, but I was ready. And he had his whole team there. He had some, I don't know, like 7 people there, but I had myself, my wrestling coach Andre, and I had Jeff there. But Jeff can put the camera down and whoop his ass too, get in the brawl. My man's got a mean left kick. But yeah, I wasn't sure, but I made sure I projected my energy onto him, and I walked up. You can see how close I am to him. You have to understand the game we're playing. Like Eugene was right. I like to size them up first. I even did it when he beat Uriah Hall. I remember some kid was trying to get my attention, but I couldn't focus on the kid because my animal instincts was just zeroed in on them, and I was looking at him then. And then when I did the interview with Brett Akamoto, and he was interviewing me, and he came and stood right where Mitch is saying, and I remember looking at him, and Brett was talking to me, and I kept on looking at him and sizing him up after the fight, and he just kept on looking at the wall, just trying to avoid me. So I size people up all the time. I even do it to random people. I see someone, I'm like, oh, what are you? And I'm like, 220? Damn, you'd be a good fighter. I don't know. It's just something I'm good at doing. So I did that just to check him out, and like I said, he did not check out. He's not about that life.
Is the Brett Okamoto interview the first time you saw him in person?
Yeah.
Because I think when you were training with Rumble, I think it was the John Jones fight.
Yeah.
I think he was training with Vitor for the Chris Weidman fight.
Yeah.
So I wondered if you guys crossed paths in the gym at all, or did you just miss each other?
Interesting. That's right. That was on the same card.
Yeah.
That's right. Vitor had his own.
They were both black zones.
But Vitor had. I went to Vitor's gym as well and trained with him once, and Vitor had a private gym, but I sparred with Vitor at the Black Zillions. I did, but. Nah, we also had a private drilling session with me, Vitor, Rumble, and Henry Hooft. And yeah, I didn't run. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. He wasn't really memorable to me then.
Maybe he had blonde hair still.
Probably. He was a fuckboy still. Anyone else? Yep.
I saw a video one of these days where Paulo Costa was giving an interview, and the reporter said, oh, Israel Adesanya challenged you. He didn't know who you were.
That was right after the Tavares win, and that was the one I won the night before he beat Uriah Hall. And I'm like, oh, fucking course you know who I am. But they didn't want to. They thought they were the big dogs then, and they didn't want to give me any shine. Ooh. But yeah.
Why did you challenge him at that time?
I did. Why? I just energies, man. Sometimes you can see someone and you just don't like the energy, and then you just know I don't like you and you don't like me. And yeah, let's fight. We get to do something about it. That's the difference. And the beautiful thing about this game is if I didn't like someone, I can actually fuck them up.
And sorry, that's not for me. How do you see this fight playing out if it goes to the ground? We're talking about a black belt jiu-jitsu.
Kelvin Gastelum was a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well, I think. And yeah, I don't know what Tavares is. I'm not sure. I hope he tries to take me down and he can realize how taxing it is to try and take me down. I hope he tries. I welcome it. And I never stop training wrestling for this fight. I never stop grappling because I'm not just getting ready for this fight. I'm always getting ready to be a better martial artist every single time I step in there, every single time I'm in camp, every single time I'm training. So yeah, if he does, he might be in for a rude awakening. I'll bambolo him. How about that? No worries.
Anything else? Perfect. All done here, I think.
Cool. Easy. No worries. Thank you.